Hello and welcome back to another edition of Experience Marshfield. My name is Bob McManus, and I am very excited today to have Michelle Bornke here from the University of Wisconsin at Stevens Point, the Marshfield campus. Today is going to be a great show. Welcome.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
So before we hear about all the exciting stuff going on at the university, which we are very happy about, I think this is probably one of the most exciting things in Marshfield is that we've got elementary, middle school, high school, both public and private. We've got trade schools. But right here in Marshfield, we have our own university. Right. So I really want to spend some time on that. But before we do that, tell us a little bit about you and what your role and how you got into it.
Okay, well, that's a really long story, but I'll keep it short. Actually, I've been in my family. My husband and I have been here now 32 years. We were just going to stop into Marshfield. It was going to be one of those, just get a couple years experience, move on. Well, here we are. We have two children, and they're all grown and moved out of the house. But I'm the campus executive at the UW Stevens Point at Marshfield. Like you said, I've been at the campus now just over 14 years. Started out in continuing education and things just happened, and now I'm the campus administrator. So that's the long and the short.
Great. So one thing that we know is going on, it's almost like in this upper level of education. You know how you get a new computer and like 6 months later you've got to upgrade everything?
Oh gosh,
It's
yes.
moving, the technology is moving fast. It seems like this upper level of education is moving very swiftly.
Yes.
Are you experiencing that?
Yes, and that was a good analogy actually. It's changing even faster than when you can put in the computer. You just think you understand it and you've learned all the nuances about your new computer. That's like us in higher education. We think we got it, this is how it's going to be, and it changes. Technology is the biggest part, like you said. Online, blended classes, the type of classes, the length of classes, the type of student is different. We were just discussing non-trads. We're always, anyone that was 26 or older, it's actually 22 and older. Well, now we've changed it to, it's the working student, because as soon as they graduate high school, or even before, in a senior in high school, they're already in the workforce. There's, such a shortage that we need to accommodate those students to work. That's something different. We're not seeing that student who can take 18 credits, do nothing else. They have multiple jobs. 80% of our students in Marshfield are employed in some type of job. So we have to be aware of that and be flexible with our schedules and what we, how we set up our classes. And
I think that's a nice niche that you have to be able to accommodate that. My understanding is you've expanded because many people here know this is the wood.
Yes.
Right, which was always, and I think many people are still calling it the wood.
Oh, they always will.
It's just,
or the center.
It's like the center, yes. So, and that has historically been a 2-year campus,
right,
where people would come here, and now you've expanded it to, you can get a 4-year degree. I think one of the greatest things is the cost is very affordable as opposed to going somewhere else. So, tell us about some of the different type of degree opportunities there, or course opportunities there.
Yes, so as you know, as of actually July 1st, we are officially 100% UW Stevens Point. And that is really, Mayor, a feather in your cap, because now you have a 4-year institution right here in Marshfield. A lot of communities, I think our size, would love to say that, right? So with that change, and I brought it because there's a lot, this whole page, right? So we still have our 2-year degree. That's still our primary mission, is associate's degree. But now we have 6 new, we call them kind of like ladders, professional associate's degree, the 2-year degree, and it's the same cost that you mentioned about cost, same low tuition, just over $5,000. How can you go a whole year full-time for $5,000, right? So those degrees are, if I can really quick.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the purpose of this is to get this associate's degree, which is the ladder to a bachelor's degree, which is then to a master's degree, so that it all qualifies. As a parent myself, check off the box. I don't want to be taking any fluffy classes that don't count towards something, right?
Right.
So these all count towards a bachelor's degree. So these applied professional associate's degree, there is applied finance, environmental science and management, health sciences, of course we're the health community, right? Human services, information science, that'd be like IT, technology, and then leadership and project management. So like the finance 2-year degree, they graduate in that with the lower cost tuition, then they could stay right here in Marshfield and get their bachelor's degree in business, because now we have that on campus. Those students starting out this fall could be in that. And then if they want, they could go 1 more year and get their master's, the MBA. So the MBA just started this July 1st. So we did get students from Marshfield. We have 6 of them. We actually had 40 that signed interest cards.
Wow.
It was phenomenal. But you know, again, that non-trad student, working student, they have full-time jobs, they have, you know, children, families. You can't just jump into something of that kind of commitment without thinking about it. So we're hoping our next cohort will have even more adult students in the MBA program. So back to that, we have 2 bachelor's degrees here in Marshfield that are new, the social work degree and the business degree, that's 4 years. And then of course we still have our nursing. That's been here 26 years with UW-Eau Claire, where they can start with their associate's degree with us, they stay right here in Marshfield, and then they attend up at the clinic and hospital with the rest of their degree. So from Eau Claire. So that is still very much part of us as well for nurses.
So this is very exciting from the perspective of many of the degrees that you were talking about are, because I know in speaking with business owners around, the way their companies get better obviously is more education.
Right.
And so many people within a company, now they don't have to travel everywhere. They can go right here. And I think it's going to be huge. I was really happy to hear about that master's program. And I've heard nothing but great stuff about it since then. So let me ask you this. Do you have folks from other countries coming over here to go to school?
Yes, and well, there's 2 things of that. There's an up and a down. A lot of legislation went through a couple of years ago, and it really hit us hard because the majority of our students were from China. So with that, the the visas to get in were more difficult. We had English as a second language, so that really deterred them. We had 46 at our campus at one time, and now I think we're down to 3. But now that we've transitioned, merged, the bad M word, I guess, together, now we have an international department again. Before, we didn't have one. We just kind of relied on the colleges to do the recruitment for us. So now with that department, they just hired a new, should have a program on her, a new recruiter for international. So hopefully we bring that back. Because I foresee when they, just like remember I said I came here for 2 years?
Right.
We get those international students or students from out of state, they come here, they go to school here, work here, and then all of a sudden they get married and they have a house here, right? And our workforce has another person. So international is key, and it also builds the diversity in our community and also for our campus. So that is a top priority for me, is to continue to push UW-Stevens Point to recruit international students for us. Very important.
Now, let me ask you then, for people that are going to come here and be that student that is going to take 18 units and try to get through, do you have campus housing, for instance?
Oh, yep. That was important when we even talked about international students, because where would they go, right? And also expanding our recruitment to outside our area. And for example, last night we had a volleyball game, and I was sitting next to a family from Medford. And their daughter goes to school here, doesn't want to drive, so she's staying across the street at the villas. So we do have the student housing now. It's a partnership with a developer, an outside business. We don't own it, but they're very close connected to us. And actually, they are helping, I guess they're talking to Midstate, which is right across the street too.
Right.
So they can also take the advantage, some of their students who don't want to travel can stay at the villas because they serve the whole community, and they can go to Midstate as well. So the housing situation, is definitely, it's newer. I think they're 4 years old now, if I remember right. And it's, the apartment, like a suite. Everybody gets their own bedroom. They share a bathroom, but there's 4 bedrooms. It's fully furnished, a living room, kitchen, dishwasher. I'm like,
Gotta have that.
I did not have that in my dorm room
Right.
when I went to school. A dishwasher, yeah, and air conditioning and carpeting. Who heard of such a thing?
Right. So you have that, which is great. Now, how about financing for that? Is it still the traditional where people
Yep.
can apply for FAFSA and tell us a little bit about maybe what FAFSA is?
Yes. So your financial aid forms, and that actually opened up October 1st. So you can now apply, any student, even if you're part-time or graduate, that MBA program, you want to fill out your FAFSA, because then they look at your financials from your taxes the previous year, and then that opens it up for loans, student loans, Pell Grants, to see if you're eligible for that. So if a student's like, oh, I don't have money, or our family can't afford it, never say never. That's the first step. That also can open up opportunities for scholarships. And just our campus alone, $70,000 of scholarships were given out this year to students. And what's really sad is that some of our scholarships no one even applies for. So we have money to give to students, and we have work study and student jobs. So the FAFSA is not scary. It really is not. They've improved it since we went to school. And we have people to help you. Our career coach, we have an advisor on campus. We have, again, UW-Stevens Point has a whole office department to help people with the financial aid process. So I always like to say, don't let it completely deter you from going to school because of financials.
Sure.
So.
How about in this size campus, how about sports? Do you have sports programs?
Yes. Like I mentioned, remember, I just was at the volleyball game last night, and it was against UW Barron County, and we did win one set, but we lost the overall match. So, but the girls did awesome. So we have volleyball, we have men's and women's basketball. We do have students come here. We have some coming from, I believe, Milwaukee to play basketball. And we have golf and tennis. So it keeps the students busy. So if they want to continue to play, college sports, they can do that. So.
And this is very exciting for the city.
It is.
I mean, it is nice to be able to say we have a university here with everything that somebody could want. You've got the education, you've got the social, you've got the sports. And the other thing that I really like what you've continued to say is folks going here, whether they're the traditional student or working, it sounds like there's a lot of support for them to help out with forms and looking here and looking there, which I think is very beneficial, because it could be scary for people to go.
Yeah.
If somebody maybe they're working right now and they need to take a look, what is the website? Let's start there.
Okay. Well, that's simple. They can just search in their search engine, just put down UWSP, and it'll pop up. And you just click on that. And at the top, the website is designed so that all 3 campuses are listed. They'll get the main page, but then they can click Marshfield or Wausau. And then it's more specific to us as to what we offer. So it's really easy to find that, and all the phone numbers. And they can call us too at 389-6530 if people remember that. But I would just search it on your search engine. It'll pop up, and then all the contact information's there. It's actually an easy site to navigate, I think. So.
And when they do go to the website, because the website is listed below, or call, I would imagine they're going to be able to speak to somebody right away.
And we'll give a tour if they want to look around. You mentioned that too. I think they have to see it. And I love to give tours. So plan at least an hour if you have time, right? Because I like to explain everything, and if they're looking for something specific, have them meet the faculty. But when they walk around, I've had a couple students or their parents say, wow, this is just like a real college. It's like, yes, it is like real college. It has everything that you'd expect at a regular campus. So, And what's nice too is that you are UW Stevens Point, and you can just transition. So you come to our campus, you are a Stevens Point. You don't have to transfer. You already are accepted, and will be. It's an easy transition to go right to Stevens Point.
So you made this big transition from the way it was in dealing. The whole university system, I understand, did. And is that I would hope and I would think that everything is settling down, do you suppose? So this will from here just continue to grow?
Right.
Or is there, in Madison, are there still changes that are going to be made?
Oh, I think there's still probably changes that are going to happen, and I don't know if the students will see any of those. I think for the students, it seems seamless. We tried our hardest to make it that way. Sometimes just today I said to a student, that's a good question. I don't know that answer. How I could have told you the old way, but let me look into that. So we are definitely aware of it and get back to our students right away when there's a question we haven't encountered in our new model. But we've definitely turned the corner. Like I said, July 1st. I think everything from business practices to student services, there's more student support. They've put more money into tutoring. You said student help. Our tutoring centers have been beefed up. We have 24/7 online tutoring with a real person. So that person that's working, they do their homework at 10, 11 at night. They need to talk to someone about their physics problem. They can get a real live person to help them. It's just incredible, right? So things like that have really changed. I've even mentioned even our faculty and staff, the English department. So maybe we only had 1 or 2 before. Now our English department is 30, 40 people. We have faculty that can help faculty. They have more support, more training that we've never had before. So I think it's a good thing.
That really is incredible. That
it's been
24 hours a day you have that kind of support.
I know, right?
That is really incredible. And this has been because your role, not only do you have your administrative role, but you're also very visible in the community, both in Marshfield and in Wood County. Because I do want to put a plug in here for Wood County, Doug Mahan has been a phenomenal supporter of this, and Wood County has, the city of Marshfield has, but you have such a diverse role because you have to go. I mean, you've been to the council meetings, so you know how fun those are.
Yes. Well, you make them fun.
Said with a little sarcasm, and so that's a big role that you have to go from. Over here in the academic world and administrative world over here into the public world. How do you manage that?
Well, I think one thing you pointed out, there's 2 things actually. The first being my role in the past with the colleges, I actually had 4 campuses that I was the business and finance person, and now it's just 1. So the focus for me now is 100% as of July 1st, just UW Stevens Point Marshfield, our Marshfield campus. And 50% of my job is exactly what you said. I'm supposed to be out in the community, Wood County, so that does include Wisconsin Rapids, Pittsville, actually our school district goes into Marathon, so Spencer, Stratford, Auburndale, like I said, Medford. We want to bring people in from all communities if we can serve them, well. So that's one thing. The other part that you mentioned, yes, Wood County. We're owned by the city and the county. So this is your building and property, and we want to be good stewards of it, and the return on investment that we're using it to benefit everybody in Wood County and Marshfield. So thanks for bringing that up, because that's really important. It's so unique. That would be the one thing that I think UW Stevens Point, their administration is still trying to wrap their arms around that. Now wait a minute. The city and the county own the buildings and the land, but not the people or the movable equipment. That's really hard for people to understand, that it's a good partnership and it's a joint, collaboration.
Right.
And they're still kind of, like, now, okay, we want to replace carpeting. Who pays for that again?
Right.
Or paint the wall or do something to the building. I'm like, wait a minute, we don't own this.
Right.
So it's been kind of fun to see them scratch their heads going, that's really different.
Right. And you know, I was just thinking too, the benefit to the student is, you know, typically when you go to university, you're in that one city. But the nice thing here is citizens of Marshfield and all the surrounding small cities, Lindsay, Arpin, Millador,
right.
can really be connected to either the Marshfield campus, the Wausau, or Stevens Point. So the reach is so much bigger, and the benefit is huge. I still get back to this has to be daunting for you all. This is a big change.
It is a big change. We've regionalized before with the colleges, and that was a change. But this is, yes, it's huge because there's just when when you do mergers of businesses and there's a lot of transition and people, but just policies, just the number of one of the events coming up is April 24th. We're doing a career expo with all the sophomores in the area, 600 students with all the schools you were mentioning. And they said, Michelle, look at all your programs at Stevens Point and what fits in that. There's pages of, oh my goodness, I didn't even know we had aquaponics. What's that, right? You know, growing plants and putting fish in it, and they grow food from, unbelievable. So I'm still trying to wrap my arms around everything that we now in our community offer. So here's another example. If there was a business in town that was struggling with data analytics or potato mold or, before they call us and say, oh, sorry, we don't have the expertise, we just have our small campus. No, we have it now. We are UW Stevens Point. We'll call up our faculty, find someone that could maybe help us or a guest speaker. It's just, I still don't know who. People will tell me someone, I'm like, who's that? They work for us? Right. So I'm still learning as well. I'm trying to, even in my new role in the community, trying to learn what are the needs. That's why I would rely on you, like the mayor. It's like, what are our needs in our community so we can shift what we do at the campus to meet the needs in Marshfield.
Sure.
So it's a two-way street.
Yep. You know, it's, as I said before, it's very exciting being within the city to have the, again, the elementary, middle, and high school, both public, and there are some excellent private schools here, and this university. It caught me when you just said that you've got all this scholarship money available and people haven't applied for it. And it's not for any lack of effort of trying to get that information out there.
Right.
Sometimes you wonder, certainly in my role in the city, gosh, but sometimes I feel like we're in a bubble. We're constantly trying to get it out, but the consumer has to see it, if you will. So before we go, I know you have a lot of exciting programs. So could you just take a couple of minutes and go through a couple and let our audience know?
Okay, so there's, for sure, it's not just degree-seeking students for credit, but we have a non-credit element. And part of our impact on the community and that need part is we want to serve the community as a whole, right? So we have our continuing education, which that's how I started. So continuing education is true to my heart. Over 7,600 people were served at our campus that are non-credit, away from the credit side of students. That was non-credit. So like, what do you mean? Well, our theater, the arts, people were worried about that too. Our whole arts, folks in the community that, oh, it'll go away, Stevens Point will take. No, if anything, it's going to be even better because now we have the whole, that's what Stevens Point is known for, is the fine arts. And they just brought the spiritualist, their students from Stevens Point on a bus, brought them to us and held a production. And they're going to continue to do that besides our own. So that will continue. We now have the best of the best experts running our theater, the arts, the music department, helping me with the box office. So that's good news. Our continuing education in their brochure, and I'll talk a little bit about it, but I wanted to talk about, yes, our communities are aging. I'm one of them, but I'm not a senior citizen yet. But I do qualify for the discounts in town. Sometimes I say no just so that I can feel young yet. But we have what's called this PALS program. It's Passion for Adult Learners. For like $70, they get all this freebie stuff. One of the things is called My Two Elaine's. The past governor, Martin Schreiber, he wrote a book. His wife had Alzheimer's. So it's his journey through a caregiver's eyes of taking care of her. So that would be free with this type of thing, but people that are not in PALS can go as well. We have trips. Stevens Point brought back study abroad. Remember, we used to have that when I used to run study abroad, and community people and our students could go to China, they could go to Germany, Italy, and you get college credit. There's short ones like 2 weeks, 10 days, or you can go a whole semester. It's back because Stevens Point has a very good program now, and our students and community members can join in study abroad. So that, I think, is really exciting for those people that are interested in that. We have a lot of offerings too. I wanted to mention, we have escape rooms, just like you have downtown, but ours is different, completely different. Ours is focused on businesses. So we take 20, 30 people, a whole business, as a business development or professional day, and they can learn communication skills. We do personnel profiling. We've had school districts come in with their admin team, and we'll do the escape room, and then we analyze it as far as like that profiling or strengths finder, or talk about their communication skills and how they problem solved. So it's really different than the, just come and do it for fun.
Sure.
We're focusing on businesses and large groups. So I wanted to point that out. So we, I think, complement that as well. And if you've never done that type of thing, they do have it now here in Marshfield, and I think it's wonderful on that 4th Street. I've been to like 16 different ones all over the country. It's really cool. So if you're looking for something to do, we have a lot to do in Marshfield, and that I was excited to see.
Yes, absolutely.
But our CE is doing it as a professional development for businesses. So the arts, I'm happy to say that we are continuing those in every way. So
that's great. So this is a lot of great information, and thank you so much for coming in. On behalf of the city, we appreciate everything that you do because you are visible in the city.
Thanks.
If you would like to see more of what the university does, just go to the website below and the phone number as well. Give Michelle a call. She would love to hear from you. Thank you again for joining in to another edition of Experience Marshfield.